The thread we're introducing this time is about a problematic individual encountered in the workplace. Anyone who has worked in a company knows that every workplace has one or two people who make you wonder, how on earth have they survived this long? However, the woman the thread's author encountered at work was far beyond that level. A truly outrageous problem child. What kind of person was she? What kind of damage did the thread's author and their colleagues suffer? Let's dive right in.
The setting was a precision machinery manufacturer. I worked there as a sales clerk. The company wasn't large, with a small number of employees, but it was divided into functional departments like the design team and sales team. Only the manufacturing plant was located elsewhere. The other departments shared the same room, separated only by clusters of desks. Since we worked closely together, everyone in the design and sales teams got along well. The president had a bit of a dictatorial personality, but overall, it was a fun company. The design team had 3 men and 1 woman, 4 designers in total. The sales team had 3 men, 2 sales clerks including me, and 1 veteran administrative staff member who handled accounting and general affairs. It was a workplace with zero stress. In Japan, where black companies thrive, it was truly a paradise. But happiness is fragile and never lasts long. It shatters easily over the smallest things. Let me introduce the 4 main characters. I was a 24-year-old woman at the time. X was an older sister in the design team, slightly older than me. Y was the veteran administrative staff member, 35 years old, handling accounting and general affairs. She was smart, humorous, and well-liked by everyone. And then there was the problem child, Z, also 35 years old. She was the daughter of the president's acquaintance. She resembled Antonio Inoki in appearance, with a distinctive jawline and a slightly chubby build. The collapse of our peaceful daily life began with a routine announcement before work one day. One of the senior employees was leaving the company due to marriage. Her replacement, brought in by the president, was the problematic Z. When the president introduced her, saying, "She'll be working in the sales team," Z made a shocking statement.
"I want to work in design. The design team is where I belong."
Everyone wondered, will such selfishness really fly? But as they stared at her, Z began introducing herself unprompted.
"Starting today, I'm Z from the design team. My father runs a company. He used to take care of this president back in the day. Nice to meet you."
At the time, we thought, she's a nepotism hire with some odd quirks, but if she can do the job, it's fine. We all ignored the unease we felt. However, right after work began, an unbelievable fact came to light. Despite claiming to want to work in design, she couldn't use CAD.
For context, CAD stands for Computer-Aided Design, a tool essential for creating design documents and blueprints. Not being able to use it is inexcusable for a designer.
By this point, you might have realized it. Z had zero knowledge of design. She just liked the glamorous image of the design team.
"If someone teaches me, I'll pick it up right away. I'm a fast learner, so don't worry."
Problem child trait number 1, unfounded confidence.
Since she was useless for design work, she was initially assigned menial tasks. One of the designers asked Z to make copies of some documents. It was a considerate request to keep her busy, but Z reacted with displeasure. She was offended at being given a task typically assigned to lower-ranking employees. Instead of making the copies herself, Z brought the documents to me and said,
"Make copies of these."
I was stunned by her audacity but assumed she didn't know how to use the copier. I took her to the machine and carefully explained how to use it. I expected gratitude, but when I turned around, Z had already returned to her seat. She hadn't even listened to my explanation.
This one interaction alone tells you Z isn't a normal person.
I can't wait to see what other antics she'll pull.
After making the copies while explaining, I brought them to Z. Then came another shocking statement.
"You made the copies properly. Good, now fax these documents."
At this point, it's unclear who's the new employee here.
When I handed her the documents, I glanced at Z's PC. She had Excel open as a cover, but in a small window, she was surfing the web. Slacking off on her first day, I had to admire her audacity.
Problem child trait number 2, mysteriously thick-skinned.
A designer, unable to overlook this, pointed out that Z should do her own tasks. Instead of apologizing, Z clicked her tongue, slammed her desk, stood up, and went to send the fax. After finishing, she threw the documents onto her desk, clicked her tongue again, and walked away. Despite being a problem child, a welcome party was held for Z as a new employee. It also doubled as a farewell party and wedding celebration for the departing senior. The venue was an izakaya frequented by the team. It was a small but cozy place with great food at reasonable prices. The moment Z stepped inside, her first words froze the room, turning the party into a living hell from the start.
What is this place? I've never been to such a dump. It's so cramped.
The manager's face stiffened. The president, noticing this, forced a smile and desperately tried to smooth things over. After everyone was seated and beers were poured, the president was about to give a toast when Z interrupted.
I only drink wine.
I wanted to retort, "Are you some kind of aristocrat?" but held back and ordered wine. When it arrived, Z complained.
Where is this wine from?
I'd love to serve a cheap 300 yen wine from a convenience store to someone like her and claim it's a rare, ultra-expensive bottle.
Most people wouldn't even notice. Human taste buds aren't that sharp.
By the time the toast finally happened, the beer foam had gone flat. Never before had a toast taken so long. After the toast, we bombarded the soon-to-be-married senior with questions. Z, visibly annoyed at losing the spotlight, was approached by a sales team member trying to include her. Z, already erratic when sober, became even worse after drinking. As expected, she started rambling.
No matter where I work, subordinates adore me. I'll eventually have to take over my parents' company, so it's a pain. My talents are wasted everywhere. I'm rich and have never struggled for money. Famous actors and singers have proposed to me. Right now, 3 people have proposed.
She spun unbelievable boasts like this. Most attendees were dumbfounded, but Y and I were fascinated. In just 10 minutes, Z had given us enough material to last a lifetime.
In a way, she's got talent.
Z continued to complain about every dish, making everyone uncomfortable. Only Y found Z's behavior amusing from start to finish.
As expected of a veteran, she's got a big heart.
The next day, Z was absent. Her excuse? A cold. Unacceptable for a working adult. At 35, she couldn't even manage her own health. Work issues persisted. Her skills were below those of a fresh graduate, and she couldn't even handle basic tasks. She pretended to be busy by pointlessly running back and forth for tasks that could be done in one trip. Her busy act included other theatrics, answering phones too fast, aggressively typing on her keyboard, and slamming drawers shut. Then, one day, Z finally crossed a line.
Her existence is already a major problem. What else could she possibly do?
I'm excited to see what she'll mess up next.
Still unable to design, Z was assigned to send a fax. Soon after, the recipient company called. Z had sent the fax to their phone number instead of their fax number, causing repeated calls. A rookie mistake. When the designer pointed this out, Z insisted, "I didn't make a mistake." After being told to redo it, she clicked her tongue and went to the fax machine. Being corrected must have upset her, because Z was even more volatile than usual that day. The office, once stress-free, was now filled with tension. The phone rang again. Z answered. It was the same company. She'd messed up the number again.
I didn't get the number wrong. Tell me the correct one. It's your fault for having similar phone and fax numbers. Don't call again. You're getting me in trouble.
With that, Z slammed the receiver down. The president hurriedly called to apologize. "Wake up, you idiot president," I thought.
This makes me appreciate my current workplace, where there's no one like Z.
Every time Z left her desk, the design team begged the president to remove her from their department. Since firing her wasn't an option, they suggested transferring her to the manufacturing plant. The president's solution? Moving her to the sales team. Of course, the sales team vehemently opposed it. The next day, ignoring the sales team's protests, the president called Z into a meeting room to announce the transfer. Soon, Z's screeching could be heard.
I have unfinished business in the design team. They'll be lost without me.
After some deliberation, the president decided to keep Z in the design team. The team members felt like they'd been thrown back into hell. Time passed, and the employees gradually adjusted to the abnormal situation. Then, a new clerk, V, joined the sales team. V resembled a famous beautiful news anchor. She was gentle, efficient, and meticulous at work. She got along especially well with Y and made a great impression on everyone. Predictably, Z hated her.
Of course she would. It's not hard to imagine.
Abnormal people can't stand not being the center of attention.
On the day of V's welcome party, a problem arose in the design team. Due to Z's mistake in relaying design corrections over the phone, urgent work piled up. As a result, only the sales team attended V's welcome party. It was the first party without Z in a long time, and we enjoyed a blissful evening, until Z suddenly showed up. Later, I learned from the design team that Z had declared, "I must attend my subordinate's welcome party," and abandoned work to come. Her delusion of being an elite had inflated her self-worth to managerial levels. Unhappy at losing the spotlight, Z began scrutinizing V like a detective.
What did you do before this? What does your family do? Where are you from? Are you married?
V shared that she was raised by a single parent, graduated high school, and was married but often alone due to her husband's business trips. Hearing this, Z suddenly became smug.
Raised by a single parent? So you were poor, huh? Only a high school diploma? Do you even have proper knowledge? Your husband is definitely cheating. If you're not planning to have kids, why even stay married? You should divorce.
First, I'd like to ask you, do you have any common sense?
While V was in the restroom, everyone scolded ZY, however, ordered a pitcher of beer. When it arrived, Y said, "Drinks are here," and deliberately spilled it on Z.
Oops. I'm drunk and my hand slipped.
From now on, I aspire to be like Y.
One day, Z invited me to a one-on-one drinking session. I tried to ask for help, but everyone just found it amusing. No one rescued me. Unable to refuse, I agreed. Later, I asked X about the situation and learned Z had a crush on W, a male sales team member sitting near me.
If Z gets a boyfriend, she might calm down and become a better person. Even unrequited love could mellow her out.
Z's family was indeed wealthy, as she took me to a high-end restaurant. After the meal, she brought up W. Following X's instructions, I played along, though I felt bad for W. The next day, I thanked Z for the meal.
No problem, you're like a little sister to me.
Loud enough for W to hear, Z boasted about her generosity and how good she was with younger people. About 10 minutes after work started, Z called me over and gave me a mission.
Find out if W likes anyone and what his type is. Report back by today.
Lie and tell her his type is someone who eats a lot.
V and Y seemed hesitant about deceiving Z, but following Captain X's orders, I lied to Z. Starting the next day, Z began joining us for lunch whenever W was in the office. We played along with her attempts to impress him.
Z really eats a lot, huh?
Yeah, I love eating.
That day, Z gave me another mission.
Casually let W know how much I ate today.
As I pondered how to do this, W approached me.
You've been having lunch with Zed lately, huh? What's she eating?
Seizing the opportunity, I truthfully listed Z's lunch menu.
Whoa, that's way too much. What's she trying to become?
If she looks like Antonio Inoki, maybe she's aiming to be a pro wrestler.
I couldn't report this honestly to Z, so I consulted X.
Tell her he looked a little happy.
Following Captain X's orders, I reported back. Z responded with a creepy giggle. Aside from her cringeworthy attempts to impress W, Z became less tyrannical after developing feelings for him, bringing temporary peace to the office. But peace never lasts. One day, the president whimsically decided to hold a drinking party, where disaster struck. The atmosphere was lively until the topic of marriage came up.
I do want to get married, but all the good people are either already married or taken.
Oblivious to Z's feelings, W was asked, "What's your type?" It was an innocent question, but I was in the biggest crisis of my life. Unaware of my panic, W said, "Someone like V. Why is she already married?" I was too scared to look at Z. The next day, Z's harassment of V began in earnest.
A high school dropout like you. Poor people are so desperate for money.
Z relentlessly attacked V over irrelevant matters. The constant bullying pushed everyone, including V, to their limits. One day, Z went too far. Y, the accounting manager, was out with the president, so V was put in charge of the company safe. The safe held important items, but when opened, the company's bank seal was missing. There was no proof, but X and I were sure Z was the culprit. Z, however, blamed V.
This is what happens when you entrust a safe to a poor person.
Even V, who usually brushed off the harassment, was on the verge of tears. That's when X took drastic action. She approached Z's desk and tried to open a drawer. Z resisted. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare, a full-blown showdown. Then, the president and Y returned. Y seemed to grasp the situation and, after speaking with the president, searched everyone's desks with their consent. Of course, the seal wasn't found in anyone else's desk.
Mind if I check yours?
When Y asked Z this, Z silently stood up. As everyone expected, the seal was found in Z's desk.
What is this? I didn't steal it. V planted it here.
The office had never felt so suffocating. I couldn't take it and teared up. Then, V broke the silence.
I quit.
Even after this, the president remained silent.
President, after something like this, anything could happen next. You know who this company needs and who it doesn't, right?
Y pressed the president for a decision, but he stayed silent. Finally, near the end of the workday, he spoke.
I understand what Y is saying. But Z is the daughter of someone who helped me. I can't fire her.
Exactly. I'm leaving now. Goodbye.
This company is beyond saving.
Abandon this president.
The president's words left everyone in despair. Shortly after the incident, Y, V, and 2 designers quit. More resignations followed. By the time most employees were new and Z had free reign, X and I also left. Not long after, the company went bankrupt.
That's all for this video. What a wild story. Share your thoughts in the comments. Disrupting workplace harmony alone makes someone a problem child, but Z went far beyond that. She drove the company to bankruptcy. A true monster employee. Stories like this often end with the problem child facing consequences, but this was a bad ending. The only reason such an indecisive, incompetent president's company lasted so long was because of its talented employees. They were the real treasure. What kind of debt could possibly outweigh the company's survival and employees' trust? The truth remains a mystery. Was the president just overly sentimental, or were there darker ties? We'll keep uncovering Japan's hidden truths, so subscribe, like, and donate. See you in the next video. Bye.